I paid over 10% on my first commercial real estate deal, and it took me over 6 months to close. My name is Nick. I'm a commercial real estate owner and operator for the past 3 years, and I have no idea what I'm doing. And the main benefit of not knowing what I'm doing is I'm constantly making mistakes, which seems like that's the only way I learn. So today I'm going to be talking about why it took so long for me to close, how I ended up with a 10.75% interest rate, and what I've learned through this experience. So back in 2023, I was trying to buy this property. It was built in the 1930s and was very unique because it was a mixed-use property in the middle of a residential neighborhood and consisted of one general convenience store attached to a townhouse. And you can see in these pictures, the condition was awful. The floors in the store were caving in and the townhouse was pretty much unlivable, but I thought it had great potential. So I called every bank that I could find, national banks, local banks, online lenders, and I either got ghosted because I didn't fit the criteria, or they just told me they don't do these types of deals. Which is fair because this was a very unique property and I was a new investor operator. But this is kind of the point where I realized no bank was going to touch me. It was a 100-plus-year-old property that had a general convenience store on it, which sold beer, and that made it a lot harder to find loans. And the main reason why I was told no was because I had no prior real estate experience, and I learned that most lenders, they're not underwriting the property, they're underwriting you. After months of going nowhere, I finally got referred to a broker by a hard money lender that would not touch my deal. And this is where we started to make progress. And a lesson learned here is in real estate, when you're first starting out, referrals and relationships mean everything because essentially you have no contacts and private lenders have very low visibility because they are non-bank financial institutions. And those are usually the only lenders that would typically lend in this case. Eventually, through this broker, I found a private lender, which I would have never found by myself. And the terms were completely opposite of what I was expecting. I was expecting maybe 20 to 25% down with a 80% loan to value ratio and a 7 to 9% interest rate, but I had no idea what I was getting into. So they presented me with a low documentation business purpose loan, which basically means that they don't have to follow the same rules as a normal mortgage. And that's kind of why the terms were so expensive. But these are very similar to DSCR loans. All DSCR loans are business purpose loans, but not all business purpose loans are DSCRs. So here are my terms at a high level. After going back and forth with the lender, we ended up with a 30-year fixed rate period at 10.74%. And I know that isn't great, but that was the best rate I was getting at that time in my situation. There was a 54321 prepayment penalty. So what that means is if I were to pay off the loan or refinance the loan in year one, I would have to pay a 5% penalty of the loan value. In year two, it would be a 4% penalty. And in year three, it would be a 3% penalty and so on. And the lender fee was 3%. And this lender deemed this deal risky and decided to only lend 65% of the appraised value, which meant I would have to bring 45% down. So this property was appraised at $390,000, and that meant I had to bring roughly $175,000 to the table for this to work, which I was not expecting at all, and I definitely did not have that cash on hand. So after months of trying to find a lender and going through underwriting, I was kind of stuck at this point. And this is the part that nobody really talks about. Everybody just tries to show you how to close deals or how to make money by renovating and flipping, but they don't really show you how to close a deal when things don't go as planned. And this is where the deal almost failed, but what happened next saved me.